Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Albuquerque Aliens Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 25. So if you didn't catch last episode, we won our first Stanley Cup in franchise history, and it was quite the run for this team. Very, very happy with how things went. Obviously, it wasn't the most complete playoff effort we've ever seen from a team, but it was good enough to get ourselves that cup win, as we managed to win in 7 games over the Islanders. It was also a tough series, just like the Kings series in round 3, where we found ourselves down 2-0. We then responded with 2 big wins. We then lost 7-3, so at that point I was thinking maybe we're going to lose in 6. Well, we responded with a 6-2 victory and a 7-1 win, and we ended up winning in those 7 games. So a little bit of luck on our side, but we managed to get it done. We had some really good stats from our top line guys in those last few games as well, which definitely helped things out quite a bit, because guys like Staubitz, guys like Ristolainen, guys like Kolars, Kim, all of them had like 5 to 6 points in those last 2 games of the series. So without that offensive performance, I think definitely would have been a tough time. And also our goaltending in Jason Giunta, he actually started to find himself in that Stanley Cup Finals, playing really good in 4 of his last 5 starts, which definitely helped us out a lot too, because you can see he had this one game where he led the 7 goals, but his other games in those last 5 games were all a .938 save percentage and above. So he did a lot of the good stuff for us on the stretch, and that was able to help us win a Stanley Cup. So very, very happy with the team effort that we were able to get it done. Obviously, now that weight is off our shoulders, we don't necessarily need to win another Stanley Cup in the series, but obviously we're going to be trying to, because we still have, I think, around 10 to 11 seasons left of this if we go right till the end, which I think I want to go right till the end, just because obviously that way we can see how these guys' careers wrap up, because both Staubitz and Ristolainen are over like 1,000 career points at this point in time, so it would be kind of neat to just see how they finish off their NHL careers, and a lot of other guys as well. So that's obviously what we're going to do, and we're going to still try and go for more Stanley Cups while we have this roster kind of intact, which is hopefully going to last at least another season, because this offseason we could end up losing some big players, which I'm hoping is not the case. Also, first, before we actually get into the comments and stuff like that, I want to wish you guys a happy new year. I am recording this on currently the last day of 2024. I know it's now 2025 when you guys are seeing this. This is the first video of 2025, so hopefully a good year of things to come for obviously this channel, and obviously for you guys as well. Hopefully you guys have a nice day and a nice year ahead as well, because I know for me 2024 was a great year because I started going to the gym. I went to the gym 4 times a week minimum most of the time. Sometimes I was sick, but 4 times minimum a week I went to the gym. So I literally went like 190 times in a year, so I managed to gain like around 35 to 40 pounds in 2024. So pretty proud of myself, and I'm hoping that obviously 2025 is a big year for me as well with that. So pretty proud of my accomplishments this year. But anyways, now that that is done, let's get to your guys' comments, see what you guys have to say about our Stanley Cup victory, and then we'll get into another offseason, and hopefully we can maintain this roster going into another season. So the first comment is from Joseph D. Miller, who says, great last game, go Aliens on their first Stanley Cup. And yes, sir, that was a great last game. I wasn't expecting to win 7-1 in a Game 7 situation, but those top line guys really took over. Like, even if we go to the box score here, I showed you guys this in last episode. We even got an assist from our goaltender on the game-winning goal on that Heatley goal, and as you can see, as Giunta got an assist on that. But our top line really took over in that third period, and that's what really helped us out a lot, because we were up 3-1, which obviously not a hugely safe lead. Well, then we get goals from Staubitz, Ristolainen, Kolars, and Ristolainen again. All those guys also pick up assists multiple times in that third period as well. So very, very strong game for that top line, and that definitely helped us win that Stanley Cup. But in general, I'd say we'd had some pretty good showings from some other lines as well throughout the playoffs. Like we had, I think, the third line show up sometime, fourth line show up. We had our backup goalie in Harakala help us out in that LA Kings series. So we got a lot of good contributions to win that Stanley Cup, and I'm very, very proud of this team. And the last and final comment is from Sanrataku, says, a hard-fought but well-deserved victory where everyone contributed. You couldn't ask him much more. Bell should be easily able to be brought back. Doig not so much. It looks like a lot of other players have strong organizational interests for obvious reasons, so you should be able to bring most of them back on more team-friendly deals. Those lowly snipers that you pinned look good, and you should try and find more right-shot defensemen in the drafts. And I think we should be able to maybe afford a lot of our players back because of the organizational interest. However, some of them want a decent chunk of money. Like, I'm still not really too sure if I want to be paying Giunta as much as he's asking for right now. He is a pending UFA, so we probably should bring him back because our goalies are not going to be super good, but you can see like he's got strong organizational interest, obviously, after winning that Stanley Cup, and a lot of other guys do as well. The one guy that we probably will end up letting go, though, of is Doig, just because he's asking for a bit too much more money than I was liking, like $9 million for a guy that I think only puts up, how much was points? I think it was like 50, 60 points, right? Yeah, only has like a career high of 66 points. It's not really worth it. Like, he could go on and play really good on another team potentially, but I don't think I could pay him that type of money. But yeah, a lot of the other guys have good organizational interests, so we should be able to knock down their money quite a bit and hopefully be able to afford them. I think priority-wise for the UFAs is Bell, just because we need that defensive help. Aside from that, I mean, like the depth, like with Heatley, Lambert, Dag, those type of guys, we could easily get them all back. The one that's going to be the big one is Gionta. Like I said, I'm not too sure if I want to commit to him long term, but we might have to because we have Harakala, who could technically maybe be a starting goalie next season. Not too sure on that. We do have some unsigned goalies, I think, as well. Yeah, Langlois and Hobbs at the moment, though. These guys aren't going to really grow to being anything insane, though. So that's a bit scary. There is a high elite goalie in this upcoming draft, though, so maybe we could draft that if we do not commit to Gionta long term. But we probably should re-sign him just because, obviously, or else we're going to be running like a 78 overall goalie and a 76, which definitely will hurt our team a lot more, probably, with the lack of wins we'll get from those type of goaltenders. So there is that. What else did Sanrataku mention about? Oh, yeah, the snipers in a draft. Yeah, so there were some snipers in a draft that I had pinned that he says that are low lead. I don't think we guaranteed that they were low lead, but they do look pretty good. They look like they're 2 years out. If we go all the way back to the bottom of this list, obviously, because we're drafting so late. Dietz could be a low lead sniper. We don't know for sure, but this could be probably our first round selection. As you can see, it looks pretty solid. The one thing I don't like is he's a left winger as well, and we have a ton of left wing players already on the roster and also coming up into the roster. So it's just like I don't really need left wingers that dire. And then there was also a right-handed defenseman, which we kind of need more right-handers than Sven Jorgensen. He also could be 2 years out, could be a low elite. There is Kalinka, who is a top 6, also a left winger, though. So there is a little bit of a lack of right wingers. There's also Springus, who's a left winger. Like, there doesn't seem to ever be a lot of good right wingers. There is this Rocky Fitz guy pinned, but he doesn't look that great, which kind of sucks because he could play both sides, which is kind of useful. So we'll see what we end up taking. Depends, I guess, if any AI teams decide to take any of these guys early or not. But will be an interesting draft, and hopefully we can find some more good prospects, obviously, because if we're going to lose players on this roster in every offseason coming ahead, we definitely need to have some sort of depth at least in our system. So anyways, that is that. Let's get into the draft and get into the re-sign stage and all that stuff and get set up for another season. Just because I don't want this episode to be super long. I know the last few episodes, I feel like we've done like a lot of hour-long episodes as of recent, so we do also got to see the retirements in this episode still too. So first and foremost, the draft lottery. Nashville's going to have the first overall pick, which means they're going to get a franchise playmaker, I think. Boston, Edmonton, Vancouver, and Columbus are 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. So there's the draft lottery. We're not going to have any retirements likely yet because we're not old enough yet, but at some point Stowitz and all those guys will retire probably in the next 4 to 6 years maybe. I'm not too sure though. But in terms of big name retirements, Matthew Tkachuk leads the way for forwards. Jesper Bratt, Nick Suzuki, Drake Batherson, Lucas Raymond. A lot of pretty solid players here. It's kind of crazy when you see these type of guys retiring because all of them in real life right now are pretty young. So from a defensive standpoint, the best defenseman to retire is Evan Bouchard on the St. Louis Blues. Interesting. Miro Heiskanen's up there. Noah Dobson retires at 38 as well. Guess I should keep that of note just because of my Islander series. Cam York as well. So some okay defensemen. I'm kind of surprised that Emile Andre had 279 career points. It's a little bit more than I expected. From a goaltending perspective, Jake Ottinger is retired. Same with Peter Kachekov or Piotr. Lucas Dostal. We also have Joel Hofer retiring, Hugo Allenfelt, and a couple other goalies. But not the hugest goaltending tandems to retire. All right, so there is that. In terms of coach retirements, we did lose Dylan Bengoa on our NHL team, which I honestly don't know who that is. That might be a goalie coach, but I don't remember who it is. We did not lose anybody in Burnaby, though, so we did lose an NHL coach. We'll come to that this offseason. Should I go to draft interviews? I don't know if I want to do draft interviews, but maybe I should on some of those guys to find out for sure if they're low leaders or not. Did we find out anything else about them before the draft, or no? No, we did not. Maybe I should interview Dietz and find out a little bit more about him. Kalinka and stuff like that are down here, so... yeah, we'll probably interview maybe Jorgensen as well, because I feel like Jorgensen and then Dietz would be my selection if I was to select one of them for the first round. But let's interview Roberto Dietz, maybe see if we could find out if he's a low lead for sure. Let's go with his greatest strength and his greatest weakness. I don't know if we're going to get that guaranteed potential, but let's go strength and weakness. We should probably find out how much years out he is, because if we could find out that he's for sure 2 years out, then maybe he's got a good potential. So if we go to, I think it's personality. Is it personality? No, it's not personality. Where is the one that asks how many years play style? Probably, right? Yeah, there he is. Let's see. Is he 2 years out? He needs a few seasons. He needs a few. Feels like he needs a few seasons left. So I don't know what that answer is. It'll probably give me a thing here shortly on how many years. 3 years. Okay, so he might be just a generic top 6 based on that. But he also could be elite. And, oh man, yeah, his stats definitely dropped off a lot since we just looked at him there and scouted him out a little bit more. So that's why we're doing this a little bit, just so we could get a better understanding on these guys. But yeah, Dietz looks like he could be a good shooter, but that's pretty much all he looks like at the moment, which is not great. I don't know if he's a little elite or not. Let's also interview Sven Jorgensen, because we do need more right-handed defensemen. So let's also see if he's a couple years out or not. So we'll go play style. Let's go his actual play style, and then we'll go readiness as well. Two-way defenseman. His readiness, we don't know about yet. It says a few seasons, so that's probably 3 years as well, which is not great. And let's go for his greatest strength as well for fun. His skating. Okay. So he's a good skater. He looks like he might be 3 years out, which means he's probably just a generic top 4 defenseman at this point. Yeah, oof. He doesn't look that great either. He does look better than the Ford in terms of stuff right now, but he is 3 years out as well. Kalinka was looking actually probably better than some of these guys, so I might honestly take Kalinka over some of the other dudes. Because I don't know if the other guy's actually low lead or not. And Rocky Fitz still kind of looks pretty bad, so... You know, he's a gem. There is a lowly DFD in here, and Ricard Hood, and I forgot about him. He actually looks fantastic. You know what? I might honestly take Ricard, just because he's actually looking really good. I might take him. He's not a right-handed defenseman, which kind of sucks, but I might take him just because he's the best of the bunch here. Yeah, I might honestly do that. Not going to interview anybody else, I don't think, but... that at least gives us a better understanding on those guys that I could have taken first round, but I probably will go with the defenseman instead. So, all right, let's hop on into this draft and see what we're able to snag up. Hopefully we can find some at least decent steals, and then hopefully the re-signing stage isn't too hard for us. But look at the last few notifications. That's hilarious, though. Kolar's tonight, 4 points in that 7-1 win. Ristolainen, 5 points. And then it mentions about Kolar's again, 4 points. But yeah, that entire top line just carried us in that last game. So we do have a lot of interesting players pinned. I'm not too sure on those guys. Kalinka and Fitz, we know for sure we're top 6. I think Dietz and Springus are just going to be top 6s and stuff. So we're going to have to probably go with somebody else instead. But let's take a look at what Nashville grabs with the first overall pick. It's probably going to be that franchise guy, I would assume. Yes, it is. 83 overall, medium franchise in, what is his name, Radoslav? Yeah, Radoslav Holtan. He's a playmaker as well. So this is going to be a really good pickup for the Preds. Kind of curious on what this guy's going to grow into, but he's going to be probably a really, really good passer. Like, he's already got 87 passing, so he should be able to produce at a good level, especially with that offensive awareness probably going up as he gets better. So there it is for Nashville. Boston at number 2 is going to select the first defenseman in the draft, which is Sawyer. Jarro Sawyer. Interesting name, Jarro. But he's a DFD. Kind of fits that Boston mentality with a little bit of physicality to him and good defensive stats. So there we go with Boston selection. Edmonton at number 3 is going to select Michelli, who's an 80 overall two-way defenseman. So a two-way instead of a DFD. All right. Kind of fits more of an Edmonton style, I guess, too, in a sense, because obviously they are kind of more of an offensive team. Boston, I feel like, has always been kind of a team that's prioritized defense and big guys. And Sawyer is 6'2". Michelli is also 6'2", but they probably just go for the size, kind of with like the weight and all that. They like those big physical defenders. Kind of like Brandon Carlo and that type of thing, you know what I mean? Vancouver at number 4 is going to select Backer, so the first center playmaker off the board since Holton. Kind of surprised that he didn't go earlier in Backer, but he's an 81 overall out of the draft, which is pretty good. So nice little pickup there for the Vancouver Canucks. So there is that number 66, huh? Must have heard about Mario Lemieux growing up, because he's definitely not old enough to have watched Mario Lemieux. Columbus at 5 is going to take Pruka, who's another defenseman, 80 overall two-way. Peter Pruka. I didn't even realize this. There's Peter Pruka. So shout out to Peter Pruka, former Ranger, former Phoenix Coyote. But obviously, Peter Pruka in real life, the forward, he couldn't play defensively for shit. I'm pretty sure he was purely offensive, like a sniper kind of guy. But it's kind of funny to see another Peter Pruka in this. So there is your top 5 of the draft. Let's simulate to our pick and see if there's any steals before our selection here. So some top 9s and top 6s going, which is not a great sign, really. Oh, there's Dietz already. Wait, was that the Dietz I was looking at? Or is it a different one? Was there 2 Dietz in this draft? Let me just take a look. No, that was the Dietz I was looking at. Okay, I was not expecting him to go that much earlier than our selections, so... Well, I guess we're not selecting Dietz. I think I might go for that Hutner or whatever his name is, the Finnish guy. Grigorenko. Ooh, a lot of medium 9s in the first round, though. Makes me feel like this draft is pretty damn bad. Shout out to T. James. What's his first name? Timothy James. Maybe the son of LeBron James. You never know. Park. Or the grandson it would be at that point, I guess. There's a medium elite steal at 14th overall for the Flyers. Oleg Andronov. Pretty damn good pick there. Kapusta is a top 6. Ooh, a high 9 going 11th overall. Tangrady's good. Foote is good. Gord Foote. Must be the grandson of Adam Foote. Yeah, this draft class is not the strongest. I can tell you that just from looking at that. So, what do we want to select with 33rd? Definitely not selecting any of these guys. Hogan, we were looking at a little bit. He doesn't look that great. He is 4 years out, though, which makes me feel like he could be just a medium 9 now. Kalinka for sure is medium 6. I do need more right defensemen, but I don't know if I want to take Jorgensen in the first round, because he could be a medium 6 defenseman, which is not great. But we did have Hutton pinned as a low elite defenseman. I think I got to take him since he's a low elite. I know he's not a right demon, but he looks really good. He's AHL eligible too, so if I basically draft this guy and then I lose a defenseman within the next season, Hutton could easily come into our lineup. So I think I'm going to take Ricard here. He definitely looks like the best option in terms of potential and overall rating too. So we're going to grab ourselves an absolute steal here with Hutton. He's probably going to be a pretty solid overall. Like, trying to guess what he's going to be like. I think he could be like a 74, 73, something like that. Maybe a 75 at most. But he's obviously not NHL ready yet, but we're going to take him. And he could play in our AHL team probably next season. So Ricard, welcome aboard. And obviously it goes all the way to the next round right away, which is kind of annoying that it still does that. So I have to go back and see what he was in terms of overall and potential. He was a low elite, 73 overall. So I almost predicted it correctly, which is pretty good. So that's a pretty nice steal there. And yeah, he probably will play for our AHL team next season. He is a DFD, so it's not like he's going to help us out offensively too much, but it is a good player in case we ever lose Bell or something like that. So, like that selection. Obviously, it would have been nice if he was a right D-man, but I'll take a left D-man any day of the week, I guess. Especially at that overall. All right, let's simulate to our next pick at 66. See if we could find a next Mario Lemieux here. But first and foremost, let's see if there's any steals before our selection. There's a medium elite goalie and Trotter. Pretty basic. But yeah, ooh, that's a nice little pick there from the Red Wings. I wish I would have seen that. Reza. I don't know if I had this guy pinned or not. That's a pretty good player. That's a pretty good one. Good one for Detroit. Some medium 6s still going. There's Rocky Fitz, the 64 overall, going to Washington. Pretty solid shooting. Sierra, what else we got here? Kalinka was a 67, looks like this. Going to the Devils. Highly goalie in Barker, damn. Jason Barker. That would have been kind of nice, maybe. There's Jorgensen, the right-handed defenseman we're looking at. He is a medium 4, so maybe I should have drafted this guy, but honestly, who knows if he'll pan out or not. And that's pretty much it. Hogan was medium 9, so glad I didn't take a chance on some of those guys. All right, our next selection here. What do we have pinned still? Oh, geez, that leg was kind of scary. We do still have the low elite snipers and Orshio and Kopitz, so those are probably the guys actually that Sarachok was mentioning about that I just completely forgot about for some reason. Zigomanis is also potentially low elite. He's probably supposed to go around this stage, but I don't know if he is actually a low elite. I might just take a chance on him, to be honest, but he is a left winger again too. And we are going to be able to get these other guys in like subsequent rounds and stuff like that. There is also the goaltender that we probably won't be able to get next round because we pick a 99. So we could take the high elite goalie here if we want to. The thing with him is he looks like he might actually be decent in terms of like sort of his reflexes and athletic already. Like his puck control is his main problem, but 5 years out at 19 isn't the best, but we do need goalie prospects, so let's take Boris Malkin already, just because he's not going to be available next round, it looks like to me. So let's take him and hope that he ends up developing nicely for us, because we do need those goalie prospects in case we end up losing Giunta or something like that down the road. So 58 overall, that's not too bad. He is a butterfly goaltender, but there is Boris Malkin. Not too bad. Yeah, his puck control is literally a 1-star. His athletics already 2 stars, and reflex is 1.5. So yeah, definitely puck control needs a lot of work for him. He doesn't play the puck a lot either. His puck playing frequency is a 43, so he's not going to be a passing type goaltender, but still looks decent. Maybe he'll develop. All right, let's simulate to our next selection at 99. Number 99. Can we find a next Wayne Gretzky here? Probably not. Let's see. So there's another goaltender in Korpikoski. We don't really need more goalies, so I'm not probably going to take him. There is still Orshio and Kopitz. I think one of the other guys went off the board already, that means. And who was the other dude that I was just talking about? Because I honestly don't remember his name now. I probably should have remembered his name. But let's see if there's any steals here in round 3. Boutin was a medium elite left wing playmaker. Nice little section there for Chicago. Let me take a look at Agostino. Tyson. Ah, damn, I was hoping that would be Tyler Agostino. Only real ones. No, I'm joking. Payarvi was the other one. He is a medium elite sniper. Damn, I didn't realize he was going to be medium elite. Okay. So maybe we should have taken him last round. Maybe. But we do have a lot of left wingers, so maybe not. But yeah, there is a couple steals in this draft, it looks like, which is good. So, do we go for somebody that's actually supposed to go around this point? Probably not. Wait, the next selection would be 122. So Nico Orshio should be still there hypothetically. We do also want to take Kopitz in this draft. Trying to think if there's anything I want to take at 99 that's not going to be there next round. Yuka Imanen doesn't look that good. There is a gem in Woods. It was not supposed to go to 129. I might honestly take Isaac Woods here, to be honest. You know what? Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Woods here because he's a gem. I think I'm going to go with him because he's a gem. Then we go with Orshio next round. And Kopitz obviously could be like a 7th round, or actually 6th round selection probably. So I'm going to go with Isaac Woods and hope that he's a low elite. He looks like he could be. It looks like he could be. Are we out of the woods just yet? Let's see. And of course we have to go back again. I hate that it skips to the next round right away. He is a medium 6, so that's not terrible, but at this stage of the draft, medium 6s usually don't pan out, so was hoping for the low lead. I mean, he does have the potential. Will he become something? I don't know. He is 18, so we'll see if he gets a good year of growth, and then maybe he could be in the AHL soon. But that's not terrible. Definitely was hoping no for a low lead. All right, 132nd, and one of the guys just went off the board. God damn, man. And it was one selection before our pick. Maybe I should have taken Orshio last round. I didn't think he was going to go off the board too. God damn. Either my math is wrong or these AI teams are actually smarter than they were. Nico Orshio. Going to Detroit. So Detroit grabs himself another low elite type of player. Well, maybe I should be going for Kopitz early, I guess, at this stage, because this draft class isn't great. And a lot of the players that I've been wanting to get just keep going off the boards. Emanen was a medium elite offensive defenseman. Wow, he didn't look that great. He is 19 years old already, but an offensive defenseman going to the Lightning, that could be a really good steal there. And Beach was a high starter. Very weird draft so far. Huh, okay. Well, maybe we'll go for Kopitz already. But he's not supposed to go till when? Not supposed to go till 224 round, 205. So I could probably wait at least 1 to 2 more rounds. So maybe we'll take some chances on some other guys here and see if there's anybody that could be better than that. So Trenton McCardle, maybe. I'll pin him for a second here. There's also Pierre Ralla. I don't need more goalies. There is also Cameron Recchi, who's 19. I don't really want to draft a 19-year-old, to be honest. We've already drafted a goaltender that was 19. There's also Ron Courtnall. It could be also low elite. How does Ron look? CCCEDD. So said, basically, we'll just say. And McCardle was looking a little bit worse, actually. BCDDDC. So I don't think it's going to be a McCardle here. I think I might go with Ron Courtnall. He is a left winger, though, which is not great. He could be a low top 9. That's kind of scary. I don't feel like this draft class is great at all. Like, medium bottom 6s are almost supposed to go here. Like, low bottom 6s. Maybe I'll just take both these guys because I may be able to get both of them. So let's go with McCardle with this first selection and see how good he is. And then obviously, hopefully, we can get the other guy too. But let's see. McCardle, how good is he looking? He's a low 9. I don't even want to go see his overall at that point. God damn. Yeah, this is a really bad draft. We probably will take Kopitz here soon because there's not really much else. How good was Courtnall if Courtnall already went? How good was Courtnall? Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? I made the wrong call. I thought Courtnall was not going to be that much better. Courtnall was also a low elite. So McCardle is not good. We should have went for Courtnall. God damn. Well, we're making a lot of bad calls, but at least we won a Stanley Cup already. So this kind of feels okay that we're going to have a bad draft. But was been that we'd make some right calls with some picks, but not so much. Cade Fairchild, that's actually kind of hilarious. I just made Cade Fairchild, which is an actual player, not this one, but there was a real player named Cade Fairchild who played for the Peoria Rivermen. So I made him in my 2010 build. Some of you guys might know who he is, some not. Yeah, I guess with this selection, we might as well just go with Maximilian Kopitz and then find some random player for the 7th round. So Maximilian, welcome aboard. Hopefully you're worth $1 million. We know that you're low elite for sure, as it says. But what overall? Probably 55? 54. Not bad. So at least we get ourselves one low elite. Could have had a couple more, but we made some bad calls maybe. But let's hope that Kopitz get panned out. He is 19, so he is a little bit of a wild card because of that. But hopefully he pans out. We do still have 2 more selections, so we got to find some random steals here with these selections. Is there anybody that could be good? This is where we find good players. If we just go through their attributes. Marty Knights is already 20 years old. God damn, I don't know about that. Same in Burns. Yikes. A lot of the guys with the higher overalls are older. Corrado could be decent. He is supposed to get drafted. So you know what? We'll go with Dallas Corrado here. And he's a medium 9. I'm not going to go to his overall. Actually, maybe I should, just in case. I wish it would show the overall and the players drafted screen, so then I don't have to go back. 65. Okay, that's actually a pretty good starting point for a 19-year-old medium 9. Okay, so Dallas Corrado might end up panning out. That's not bad. It's an okay selection. All things considered, because some of the other picks in this draft, like the low 9, aren't great. And our final selection of this draft. Can we find any steals? There could be a low elite here in Jonah Lynn. He is 20 years old. We got to take a chance on him. This is the last pick of the draft. So is Jonah Lynn low elite? And if he is, would he pan out? Probably not because he's 20 years old already. But he's going to be our last selection of this draft. So Jonah, welcome aboard. And I think that says a medium 9, maybe a low 9. Yeah, I think it says low 9. I can barely read through this opacity on the screen, but looks like he's a 59 overall playmaker, I think it says. Yep. Okay. So not the greatest draft for us. Obviously, we could have had a lot of better other selections, but at least Hutton looking nice in that first round. Malkin could be a good future goaltender of this team. Woods has potential. He's got top 6 potential, so at least there's a chance. McArdle was a pretty bad pick. Kopitz at least has that low lead potential. Corrado's a high overall medium 9, and Lynn's not much of anything. So I'd say we did okay with most of our selections, but obviously we could have done a lot better than what we were handed. All right, let's get to this re-sign stage now, because now we got to make sure that we could spend this money in a good way and get everybody that we want to have back for the team, because our team could drop off. Also, we got to re-sign some coaches, so let's go ahead and do so, because obviously these guys should come back to our team, because our coaching staff was pretty good last year, so might as well try and hold on to them if they are willing to accept some large sums of money. Hopefully they don't want to go to a team that is just trying to get to another Stanley Cup again, because this team could fall off, but I'm not too sure on that. So you're an assistant coach. Wow, you want a lot, Quincy. Goddamn. Quincy wants the money. So the coach that did retire was the goalie coach, so as expected. So we do need a new goalie coach this offseason, so we'll get to that as well. In this episode, we do need to re-sign our scouts, of course. Our scouts have done some pretty good jobs, I'd say, for the most part. They've definitely drafted some good players or found some good players for me. They also sometimes don't do their job, though, but we'll see if they are able to all come back and continue to build up this team for the future success as well, rather than just right now. And I have to go through this list really slowly so I can actually see if any of these guys actually need contracts still. It's so annoying that they have lag on this thing. Like, why did they add a delay? Like, I hope that they get rid of this soon enough, because it's just frustrating me. Especially on screens like this, it shouldn't even be in existence. Delisle needs to come back. Boom. Hammerlick? Nope. Setzinger? Nope. Duffy? Yes. That delay is annoying. Scott? What about Scott? No. Weber? No. I forgot that we had Shea Weber as a scout. All right, re-sign stage. Let's see how much money we have to spend this offseason. $43 million bucks. That's not too bad, to be honest. Could be a lot worse than that. But we do have a lot of UFAs that need money. And like I said, Doig is probably the one that's going to end up leaving the team. So in terms of potential, obviously we should sign Tuomaini because he's got medium elite potential. He is 22 and only a 61, so likely he doesn't pan out, but we should sign him since he's got potential to be something. Veshy, I'm going to let go. Actually, should I let go of some of the AHLers that are like 75? Maybe. Maybe let go of Zetterberg. I'm not too sure. Because we need to get Ashton in for sure because he's got that low elite potential. He already accepts. Comrie needs to come in because he's got medium elite potential. Hackett doesn't matter really too much. We'll release him. Same with Veshy. You know what? We'll do that as well. We'll try and bring back a lot of the AHLers, but we do not have a lot of contract space, so we probably should prioritize some of the RFAs. But first and foremost, we should probably focus on the NHL stuff. So first, the AHL. Haracal is an RFA. What do you want? 2 years at $900,000? You got it. You know what? We'll just do that so he can come back as our backup for the next 2 years. Semenov and Langlois in the AHL. Semenov and Mathers is under contract. Was he in the AHL last year? I think he was, right? Yeah, he was. Semenov's not bad, but I don't know if I should sign Langlois. And then just run 2 younger goalies. Semenov could leave the team and come back again at some point. Trying to think if I want to let him go or not. Because he is more of an AHL starting goalie. He wants a one-way deal, so I think for now I'm going to let go of Semenov, but he could come back as an AHL starter. And we will sign Langlois to his ELC. So there you go. Perfect. We'll wait on a second on Giunta, because I do need to see these other guys first and foremost. I'm trying to think of what I want to let go of in the AHL in terms of UFAs. Probably should let go of some of the older guys on the team. So Zetterberg, I am going to let him walk for now. And I am also going to let go of Camilleri for now, but I might bring some of them back. This is more to free up roster space in the AHL team. Jackal is a low bottom 6. He's not that bad of an overall, to be honest, as a low bottom 6 guy that went 7th round. Let's sign this guy because he's good overall at least. And I don't know why my belly keeps gurgling, so hopefully you guys aren't hearing that. I don't even know why. Kind of strange. Anyways, Peterson as a depth option might not be bad. One-way deal, sure. Or not one-way deal. 1 year deal is what I'm trying to say. Janicki wants $1 million for one-way, or two-way, I should say. They all want two ways. Bure might want one-way. I should get to the NHL players first and foremost. Let's see how much Dag is wanting. How much is he wanting now? His asking price went up a ton. Oh, boy, that's not great. And he has low organizational interest, too. What even happened? He had a lot of organizational interest right after we won the Cup, but it just dropped off a cliff. And he wants a lot of money. God damn it, Drew. Why do you have to ask for this much amount of money? Because I can't drop this down by too much. Or else he's not going to want to accept it. Like, the lowest I could probably offer him. Oh, boy. This is not good. Maybe that's why I just drafted that defenseman I did. Let's see. How much can I drop this off by? I don't think I can drop this off by 2 bars because of his organizational interest. Like, I might have to pay him $9.25 million as an 86 overall defenseman for 6 years. Trying to think if that's worth it or not. God damn. Let's get some other players back here first and foremost. Heatley's going to be dirt cheap, correct? He still has a lot of organizational interest. I don't know what happened with the organizational interest on Bell, because that was way up there before. Let's see if I can get Heatley for $18.25. Should be able to get it done. Lee was a depth class actual defenseman. He wants $3 million as a 79. Whew, that's pricey. That is actually way pricier than I expected. But since he has organizational interest, I could drop him down maybe to 3.275, but that's not even saving that much money for us. I'm going to come back to him in a little bit. Lambert is actually really cheap, so we'll keep him all around for 2 years. He could play in the AHL at times if we need to, but yeah, he's a nice cheap option to bring back. Ahinen as a 2-way contract, maybe he could come back, sure. We'll do that. Ackerstrom as well. We just want to make sure we have that depth in the AHL still. Bure, what about you? 2-way deal. Let's knock this down a little bit of money. Actually, never mind. I can't even knock it down. $900,000 is the minimum now, so sure, take the money. All right, so we also got Dag. I don't know about Mark Dag coming back because we do have a lot of left wingers at the moment. I do like Dag a lot. He was a nice little steal. But he does also take a bit too much penalties. He wants only $2 million, but he wants a 3-year deal. He doesn't only like the 1-year deals. I don't know. That's a hard one. Doig, like I said, probably doesn't come back because, he's trying to get 9.425, which isn't terrible, but his organizational interest is also quite low. So, yeah, I think we got to prioritize Bell still and maybe give him what he's asking for almost, which is kind of a lot more than I was hoping to give out, but I think I might have to do that. I am going to go to our R phase here, and all the ones I want 2-way deals I can easily just do. But aside from that, I'm going to have to qualify probably some R phase here. But, man, the demand on these guys are more than expected. I really think we do have the cap space to bring him back, but I think Gianta's asking price probably went up too. Likely. So we'll have to take a look at how much he wants. Hopefully it's not a crazy amount. But I might be okay with losing some players, potentially, but not too sure. Mahalik is going to be an NHL player. He wants a 3-year deal. That's not really that bad. Let's just qualify him for now. Just because Malak is going to probably be NHL bound next season. No, he wants a 2-way deal, so maybe not. But we'll take him back on a 2-way. Zach Hurd. Yeah, you're getting qualified for sure. That's a bit too much for me to give out right now. Cashman. Let's see. Cashman's also going to get qualified for now. We're going to have to make some tougher decisions next offseason again, probably. And then Peterson, I do really like Peterson. But he wants $8 million. He doesn't have a lot of organizational interest. So we'll qualify all 4 of these guys. And then we'll come back to our UFAs here. Let's advance today, and then we could get some of these players off our names a little bit. But, yeah, it's going to be pretty pricey here, I think, with Bell and Gionta and all those guys. Which I am kind of scared about, but we're going to try and maintain it as much as possible. So we know that Lee's going to be expensive. Dag's going to be expensive too. I probably prefer to prioritize Bell over Lee almost because of the overall. Obviously, they're the same age. Obviously, Bell's going to cost us a lot more, but it might be worth it. I don't even know if I could drop this down by 2 bars with his organizational interest. So I'm going to attempt to offer him 2 bars less than what he's asking for and seeing if that works. Because if I could get him down for just over like $9 million, that's not terrible. It is kind of bad, but it's not terrible. His organizational interest, though, is being so low. Like that no movement clause hopefully works out a little bit with his interest. But I don't know why he has low organizational interest. Did that organizational interest go down at all when I was offering him less money? No, it doesn't say. Huh. Let's go with 9.25 for 6 years, and we'll see if Bell's okay with that. I might have to try and get into a negotiation to try and get him to get his organizational interest higher. But we'll try and offer him that first and foremost. And then if I go to Gionta, what is he asking for now? He doesn't want an extension, so that's kind of scary. His organizational interest is higher than Bell's. He also wants still 6 years. I might be able to knock him down by 2 bars, but 2 bars down for him is still a good chunk of money. But I probably have to do it because we don't have any other goalie options really at the moment. So 8.625 for 6 years. Gionta, take that money or leave it. I might have to give you a bit more. But I think I'd prioritize those 2 guys over Doig, Dag, and Lee. So, but we'll see if those guys, I could get those guys back still. But obviously the RFAs are going to still cost us a lot of money, so I probably should let go of all 3 of these guys here. Sign these 2 guys, and then we should have the cap space to sign all these other dudes back. But they're all going to want one-way deals. Let's see if those guys accept or reject. Hopefully I could get them for less money because it's just kind of frustrating that their organizational interest dropped off a cliff. Gionta rejected, and same with Bell. Oh, that's not good. That's not good, man. That's not good at all. So I'm going to have to drop this down by maybe 1 bar only rather than 2. So if I was to drop Joe Bell's down by 1 bar completely. Let's see, can I get this down a bit? Why does my belly keep making noise? Like it sounds like it's hungry, but I just already ate breakfast. 9.8. 9.8 for 6 years. Take it or leave it, Bell. It's a lot of money to give to somebody like you. Like I was not expecting to pay you guys this much amount of money because I thought your organizational interest was good, but we're going to have to make it work because we need to kind of have these guys back. Because the defensive core probably won't be as strong without Bell, and obviously the goaltending tandem wouldn't be as same without Gionta. So we'll try 9.175 for these 2 guys. Oh boy. I hope they accept. If they accept, that would be $18 million spent. And then we still have these guys, which obviously Peterson's going to get like 6+ mil probably. Cashman's probably going to get like 3+. 3+ for you as well. We actually might have more cap space available to get like Lee and Dag back, but I need to know for sure on Bell and Gionta if they're going to accept. Oh, it looks like Gionta resigned based on the notification. Yes, he does. Nice. And Bell rejected. So we do get Gionta back, which is nice. Obviously, it's a bit more of money than I was hoping to spend on a goaltender, but I'll definitely take it. I honestly might have to get Bell down to only half a bar. He just does not have that much organizational interest, so I can't drop this down by an astronomical amount. $10.2 million, though, for Bell. It's not what I want to really spend on a defenseman, but he is one of the best on the team, or is the best, maybe, defensive defenseman on the team, because obviously Norena is also making a good chunk of money. So let's try this again. $10.2 million for Bell. We'll see if he accepts that. How much days do we have left? Only a couple more days, too. Oh, God. Come on, guys. I hope I can afford all you back. I really can. And especially, I don't think I'm going to bring back Doig, though. But it says Bell wants an extension, but he doesn't have the organizational interest, so he better accept this. He rejected it. I'm not going to resign at that dollar value. I didn't even offer you that much less. Oh my goodness. You guys are going to probably get mad that I'm overpaying on this guy, but we need to kind of have him back. This might actually hurt us a little bit in the future. I mean, worst comes to worst, we could buy him out. But let's drop this down by only like a third of a bar. Ugh. Let's do that. So hopefully he accepts that. He might actually have to take everything he wants. And I think we will have cap space available probably to bring back some of these guys. So just in case we somehow lose Bell for a second to free agency, probably should bring back Lee. So we'll go down to 3,275 for Jordan Lee. And then should I bring back Dag? Probably, just in case we have extra depth. Let's go 1-year deal for him. And let's just up this a little bit here. Should be able to get him to maybe 2.425 for 1 year. And then, yeah, obviously Bell's the most important player here coming. Oh, man, this is a lot of money to spend this offseason. Dag is on board. That's good to see. Bell is back. So that little bit of money he took off, but he did not take off a lot, which means we're down to $20 million in cap space. That's going to be $6 million, I'd say at least $3 million, $3 million. So that's $12 million and a couple million. That means Esteban Doig's time here is done. We got to salute to Esteban Doig. I know he wasn't necessarily the best player. He was a 4th overall selection, so kind of a high player to get, and didn't really become that. But we got to salute him. After our Stanley Cup win, he's going to head to the free agent market, just because I don't think I'm going to be able to spend that much money on him. But a solid career. Not the most insane player in the world. Had a pretty good playoffs, I would say. Like, he's actually been a pretty good playoff performer. 20 points in the first playoff run we had to conference finals. 8 points last year, not so much. 17 points this year, but was minus 10 in that playoff run. So, a little bit of a liability for a two-way forward, but he's going to head to the free agent market. Best of luck there, Esteban. And hopefully, that doesn't hurt us too much. So, Bell lost morale after that. So, Bell's probably like, why the heck did I re-sign him? But we should have the cap space for all those RFAs, which is good. And that means we're ready to go pretty much. But I am kind of scared on our money situation in the next few years now because of those contracts that we just dished out. But Wharton also has left the team as an NHL associate coach. I should try and probably bring him back. But we'll come to that in a second here, because we do need also ourselves a goalie coach again for next season. So let's go to the coaching staff. And let's try and get that associate coach back. Maybe if Wharton would be nice to come back to the team. He does not have any teams interested in him. So let me try and get him back as that associate. If he comes back, that would be nice, because obviously we just won a Stanley Cup with him on our roster. Our coaching staff, I should say. And then, like I said, we do need a goalie coach. So if we go to teaching, we will go probably with this one. Yeah, might as well go with this one in Patrick Wisnowski. So you could be our NHL goalie coach. And yeah, that would be good. Perfect. If we have a good goalie coach, I think that should almost help our goaltending numbers a bit. But that's the only coaches we really need. Yeah, that's the only really coaches we need. So we're pretty much good on that. I think we're ready to probably sim up to next season already, because I'm not going to do any off-season focus stuff still. I'm kind of done with that off-season focus stuff a little bit too much. So let's go a month through free agency. Actually, there's probably just a bunch of generated guys at this point. You know what? We're going to go through the rest of free agency. I'm going to go first till August the 1st, though, just to see if our RFAs start accepting. But I'm not going to take a look at the signings that happened. Wharton decides not to join us, so I am going to still need to find that associate coach. Wisnowski's on board, though, as our goalie coach, so that's good. So let's try and get... if Wharton's still available, try and get him back still, give him more money, which he is still available, and there's no teams interested in him still. He wants to be a head coach, but we want him as our associate. So hopefully more money will entice the man to come back, because that way we keep our same coaching staff again for next year. So boom with that, and that should be good. And we'll continue to simulate. But yeah, I'm not going to really do anything in terms of off-season focuses, I don't think, anymore at this point. Unless players start to drop off, maybe I should do that. So Wharton's back for the team. That's good because I gave him more money. And I'm excited to see what our team's looking like. Is Marek Mahalik actually got a qualifying offer from the Nashville Predators? Wasn't expecting that. 2 years at 14.8, but we have to just match this offer. There's nothing I'm going to do about that. So that kind of sucks that one of our RFAs actually got approached. But let's stop the sim just in case. Let's take a look at what the RFAs are asking for now. We're down to $19 million in cap space. Still have these three guys. Hurd is asking for how much now? 4.45. Wow, that's actually more than expected. Cashman is asking for 3.8 for 3 years. And then Peterson is asking for 7.95. Goddamn. Well, I do like Peterson a lot, to be honest. I feel like I could commit to him long term, but is there anybody that's big that's expiring this offseason coming ahead? Capaduca is the only big one. So it's not actually that bad of players that are upcoming free agents. So, maybe I could commit to him for 4 years. I do really like Mauricio Peterson's play. Trying to see what his stats have been looking like. Has been getting better over the last few seasons. Really good in the playoffs. This is a second line. Only 25 years old. He would be a pending free agent at the end of the year if we don't bring him back. So let's see if I could drop this down by 2 bars maybe. Since he's got a lot of organizational interest. Because I would like to hold on to Peterson maybe a little bit long term. So let's go to right around here. 6.725. And then these other guys, Cashman is a pending free agent, so I probably should hold on to him kind of long term too. Or else we'll lose more depth. So let's go for 3.4 for 3 years. And then Hurd probably still has another year of RFA status after this year, I think. No, he doesn't. He only wants the 1-year deal, though. Let's just drop him down by 2 bars as well. I'm okay with giving these guys their money they're asking for now. Just to keep them a little bit more happy since we have the cap space. Obviously, I wasn't going to give it to them earlier, but now that we have the money available, it's just like, might as well just give it to them, and maybe that organizational interest stays a little bit higher. Because obviously, if we keep qualifying them, I feel like maybe it affects their organizational interest too much, because then I start to hold out a little bit, but I'm not too sure. So, we got an accept from Cashman, we get an accept from Hurd for the 1 year, and we also get an accept from Peterson, so that's great. So we get everybody back, some of them on multi-year deals. Next offseason, we probably don't have a lot of cap space available, but we don't have any huge name free agents pending. So hopefully Capaduca doesn't have a big year, and then that kind of hurts our team in terms of losing him potentially. Because Capaduca could potentially be back in the top 6 again this season because of the loss of Doig. All right, so let's get our line set up for another season, and then after that, it'll probably be it for this episode. Just because I know this episode is already getting close to another hour-long episode, but let's get to goaltenders. So we got Gionta and Harakala looking pretty good. Harakala's actually up to an 80 now, which is kind of nice. Mathers in the AHL, Langlois as well. I forgot about Mathers having potential too, though. Because Mathers could be a future starting goaltender. He is already 22, though, which is not great. Defensively, Bell, Norena, Tulipov, Hurd, Whitfield, Mahalik. They do send Lee down to the AHL. Yikes. Because Lee in the AHL is not great. He is listed as a top 6 defenseman. So if he was scratched, he probably wouldn't like his ice time. So I probably will keep him down in the minors as a top 2 defenseman. We actually have a crazy ton of defenders in the AHL, though. That's actually insane. What the hell do we have down there? Goddamn, we probably need to start letting go of defenders. Because that's like literally like 11 defensemen in the minors. So I will call up. Who do I want to call up? Janicki or Ackerstrom as the depth defenseman? Let's call up Ackerstrom as the depth defenseman. That's going to be the call up for defensemen for the depth options. For right wingers, we got Staubitz, Hennessy, and the other Doig. I forgot we have another Doig. He's going to be joining the 4th line. Not bad. Left wing side of things, Kolars, Capaduca, Dag, Delisle, Lambert, and Malak. So a little bit of a logjam on left wing. That's okay. Centers, Ristolainen, Kim, Peterson, Cashman, Heatley. And yeah, it's probably good. All right, let's get our line set up and see what we're working with for another season. But make sure we don't have anybody super important scratched. Like, who's scratched at the moment? Lambert. He is a depth forward, so that could be okay. Lambert last season wasn't bad. He was actually pretty good in the playoffs defensively. Malak being a scratch is probably something I don't really want, though. Wait, he was a 10th overall selection? I didn't even remember him being 10th overall. God damn. Dag should probably be in the lineup. That's why I didn't want to bring it back, really. Doig, oh boy. We have a bit too much on the left wing side of things. I did really like the Lyles play last year, too. Let's readjust this a little bit here. Hennessy's an 83. Oh, boy. We might have too much forwards, in a sense. I could move Heatley over to the left wing because his face-offs aren't that great, but none of these guys I don't think could take face-offs. I don't even know what I should do with Dag. I might honestly have to send Dag to the AHL. I do like his grindy play, but I prefer to probably have somebody like Malak in, but Malak could be a better depth forward potentially. He would be a good replacement if we lose Capaduca this offseason, though. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll just leave Malak scratch for the time being, but you guys could let me know some suggestions for next season as well. From a defensive standpoint, we'd have Bell and probably going with somebody like... Noreno we probably want to have on the top 6 pairing because of his defensive liability status. I'm trying to think. Maybe we do go with Mahalik and Bell again. Yeah, we go something like that. The reason I'd have Noreno on that top 6 pairing, though, is just because of his defensive stats. But he would be getting first-line power play likely, right? Yeah. Okay, that's fine with me. And then goaltending, obviously, we know is Gionta and Harakala. But do I want to really scratch Lambert and Malak? Not really. So what would you guys do in that situation? Would you put Dag down to the AHL, get one of the snipers in, or would you creep him in as a grinder and then keep somebody else scratched? It's a bit of a tough decision, so I honestly don't even know. From an AHL standpoint, we could honestly send some of these guys back to the AHL too. That's always not a problem, really. We do have way more defensemen than we have forwards, though. Because Dwayne Sagan's definitely not supposed to be a forward. Alvin Ashton's probably one of the better prospects we have down there, so probably should move him up high in the lineup so we get some growth from him. Actually, Corso has medium elite potential, didn't he? No, low elite potential. So go something like that. Hennon's old at this point. Geisbers doesn't need to play. Perry doesn't need to play. And Tuomainen probably should, but he's also 22, so... DeVoe's low elite. Lee as a veteran would be good to have on that top pairing, maybe. Actually, Segal probably could stay up there, because he is one of the better defensive prospects, I guess. Man, the AHL's defense isn't panning out really that well. We might need some new coaches in the minors, too, so these guys actually grow. Alright, so there's the AHL, there's the NHL. I think that looks good. It will be interesting to see what Caleb Doig could do. I think that's a decent player to add to the fourth line. He is a grinder, too. So technically, we don't really need 2 fourth-line grinders. We only need 1. So maybe it wasn't a great decision to re-sign Dag. Maybe I should have let him go. I think I honestly might send Dag down to the AHL. And then I would probably run Malak just because he was a high up pick as that fourth line left wing guy. And then Lambert could come into the lineup if there's injuries. He is listed as a depth forward, so it's not a huge issue. He's already 25, I think. Yeah, 25. Then we just need to call up somebody else when we send Dag down, if we do that. And the other depth option probably could be either Bure, could be Peterson, could be even Corso, or it could be the enforcer in Evan Patrick, too. So, yeah, I think I might honestly send Dag down. I might, but I'm not too sure on that yet. All right, so there is that. Anything we want to check before we end this episode off? Trying to think, because we're over an hour again. There's probably a lot of cuts, though, because my voice just keeps dying on me, though, which is kind of annoying. But let me go to the contract situation for a second here. Yeah, see, this upcoming offseason, we aren't going to have to spend too much money. Like, Hennessy might cost us a good chunk. But like Capaduca, Jag, aren't super important. Delisle should be kind of cheapish to bring back. He's also an RFA. Hurd's a pending UFA, so he might be expensive, but we might lose more of our defensive depth this upcoming offseason, but a lot of our big guys are at least signed for next year, which is good to see. Like, the next big player to come off the free agent list, or to free agency, would be Rick Kim in a few years, 3 years away. So he's the big one, obviously. If by that point in time, he might start dropping off a little bit. So there's also actually Narena down in 2 years. Yikes. That's a bit scary. So that Bell contract we gave out might make us lose Narena. Yeah. But Narena could be dropping by that point as well, because he's already 31. Like, we're starting to get to that point where we're a little bit older of a team. Stelwitz is 32, Risto, Narena, 31, Capaduca's 30. Everybody else is below that, though. You know, we have at least Giunta locked up on a nice little contract. I don't think it's a terrible contract for him, but I am kind of worried just because goalies are a massive wildcard in this. But final thing I wanted to take a look at was where Doig signed, and then that'll be it for this episode, because I almost forgot about doing that. So where did Esteban Doig go, and how much did he get paid? Hopefully he didn't get a clause with a different team. That would be kind of annoying if he did, but let's see. Let me remove my face so you guys can see the entire details. He signed with the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers, all right. Looks like a good chunk of trade value, 86 overall. He got $11.8 million on the free agent market. Damn. He got overpaid. For sure. How much years? 3 years. Okay, so not a long-term deal for him. And he didn't get a single clause in that deal, it looks like. But a nice little contract there for the Oilers, maybe. Maybe that's a massive overpayment. But $11.8 million for a guy that puts up 60-something points. A lot of guys are kind of getting overpaid in this series a bit, but we'll see if that ends up helping out the Oilers in terms of maybe going for a Stanley Cup or something like that. I don't even know what type of team they are right now at this stage. Like, where does he fit into their lineup out of curiosity? I know I'm just making this episode extra long by doing this type of thing, but kind of curious on where he would fit in with the Edmonton Oilers. Obviously, they don't have Connor McDavid and stuff at this point, I don't think. Let's see. He would be fitting in as a top-line right winger, so that's a bit of a rebuilding team, but he's getting a chance to play and prove himself well this year, so we'll see if he ends up doing good stuff for the Edmonton Oilers this upcoming season. But yeah, that team definitely not in a great stance right now, so maybe he's going to turn that team into a cup contender. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Albuquerque Aliens Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to another season simulation. I think this team's definitely good enough to make it back to the playoffs, but there is a bit of internal competition where we're going to have to figure out who's going to be a depth forward for us, who's going to be in our lineup, who might be sent back to the AHL. But I think it's going to be another good season ahead, and hopefully, obviously, if we do make the playoffs, we could go for another Stanley Cup. But if we don't, it's not the end of the world. But I do want to see some good stats from our players as some of them start to age a little bit more. So let's think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.